lately, when I look for content online, I've been seeing like a lot of the same content repeated, always the same type of advice, always talking about all this talk about mindset, about habits, about productivity, about self-love. All of those topics are very important and it's very needed that there's people out there talking about those. But what I mean is that I see a lot of, if you want it, you get it. If you want this, you can take baby steps to get it. This kind of talk, the talk that's like, you want this, you just have to figure out what's the way to go from here to there. And I haven't been relating to that very much, because so much of what holds me back from being the person I want to be is myself. I know it's my mind, but I just haven't. Most of what I see on YouTube, now talking about YouTube because it's where I'm posting this, it's very focused on the action you can take, and I mean, you're feeling this way, do this to avoid feeling that. But in between, there's a space that doesn't seem to be talked about a lot. That's that space of how I get myself from feeling this very low and very shitty way, how I get myself from that place so I have enough energy, enough stamina to make myself do whatever I need to do to feel better. There's been many times where I've had to force myself to do things for myself, things that I know will make me feel better, but I had to do them in a state of mind that wasn't the very best ever, and that has eventually led me feeling worse because I've done the thing in a bad way, or I've hurt myself unintentionally, or you know what I mean? Sometimes when you do things in a bad state of mind, it's just even worse. I just want people to feel validated and to realize that if they don't feel able to do something, it's not because they are lazy, it's not because they are not trying hard enough, it's not because they suck. It's because there's something that's not functioning properly. For the most part, it's something related to mental health that's not letting you function at the level you could be functioning. And it's something you have to pay attention to and work on in the very best way that you can. And for me, lately, anxiety has been a real struggle. I've been waking up with it almost every day, going to bed with it, and so that's like, okay, how am I supposed to take any action towards any sort of different life or different outcome for myself if every day I've been feeling this huge pain in my chest and this huge feeling of despair all around, So I guess most of the focus should be put not on doing something to make yourself feel better, but just on feeling better, period. And maybe sometimes that doesn't come from doing something. I mean, there's always this talk that action breeds more action, and you need to keep moving, to not lose your balance, like a bicycle. And yeah, I do agree with that partly, but at the same time, there's moments that call for stillness and rest and relaxation, and sometimes maybe that's what you need to do. You actually need to cut everything off, stop consuming information, stop everything you're doing to try to improve yourself all the time, because I'm guilty of always trying to improve myself in some way, like always listening to something that has to have some benefit for my job or my growth on social media or whatever it is. Sometimes you just need to cut all of that out of your life and just focus on you, when you need at that moment. And if you listen to your body and it's telling you, this is enough, I can't take any more input from outside, just don't take any more of it. Just lay there and fall asleep, or look at the ceiling. I mean, that's what I've been doing. I know it's not much. I don't know if this may help anyone or not, but it's what has been helping me, at least. I just cannot make myself be productive when I'm in that state. Some days it does work. I'm not saying that it just never works and it's just, I don't know. I mean, some days it has been beneficial for me to get up and move my ass a little bit and do stuff like do the dishes, tidy around the house and stuff. But some days that just doesn't help. It doesn't help because my mind is too chaotic and I will just eventually feel worse. So if you've been feeling a bit like me, just know that it's okay to rest, you know? Let's just realize that we are not in a competition. We shouldn't always be putting this insane pressure on ourselves, like we all do sometimes, to reach some certain amount of whatever it may be by a certain time. I mean, we still have our entire lives to do that, and if we're not feeling well, and if we need to waste, quote unquote, some months or even a year, like resting and not doing as much as we would like to, it will be better in the long run. Because if we take care of what's in here, everything else will follow later. But if we don't take care of this first, everything else falls apart at the same time as everything here is falling apart too. So just keep that in mind always, and don't feel like you have to do something to get yourself out of that state. Because if you're anxious, if you're sad, if you're feeling something unpleasant, perhaps there's nothing you can do about it than just wait for it to get better or get to the root of it, or, you know, sometimes there's no action to be taken. That's what I'm trying to say here, I guess. I feel like taking action is not always the right option for you at that moment, maybe. At least it hasn't been for me many times. I hope you found that useful in some aspect. If you did, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you deal with anxiety, with pressure, with being alive. That's a good question. How do you deal with being alive? I really want to know, because sometimes it feels a lot to me. It feels like I can't do all of this. It's a lot. I can get to everything, but we're just trying, you know? We are just trying the best we can. That's why we're here, to try and learn and all that stuff. So yeah, hope you enjoyed my video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.